Identity speaks of purpose and direction. And so if we don't really know who we are, we don't know our purpose, and we don't know where to go. And so it's important that we encounter, that we really spend time with God hearing from him so that we can really come into the reality of who we are. You know, you said something about revelation or unveiling. That's important because even when we're dealing with God's word and he's dealing with us, for us to really come into and lay hold of what God has for us, we've got to come into a place of revelation, because the quality of our lives will be lived based on the quality of revelation that you have. That's in regards to the word. But the same thing applies to the quality of revelation that you know about who you are. It's the same quality of life that you will live. Remember in the Bible in Matthew, when Jesus was talking with his disciples, he said, who do men say that the Son of Man am?
Yeah.
Now notice, he wasn't asking his disciples who he was because Jesus didn't know who he was. Jesus was well informed of who he was. In fact, he was settled in his purpose and why he was here. He was asking them for one reason, and that is, if you don't know who Jesus is, then you can't receive. If you can't see properly, then you can't really receive properly. But notice something that we gather out of that. Jesus didn't allow some say to put an identity on him. And see, sometimes what happens is, based on what people have said about us, we will then allow that false identity, that we'll take on that false identity. Don't allow what some say to cause you to embrace a false identity. Don't allow what some say about you cause you to live out a false identity, because you are who God says that you are. You can have what God says that you can have. You can go and do what God says you can do.